I can sip on it when needed.
Sure.
But for me, it's more of just like I just want water. I love fucking water.
And I'm fueled by energy drinks. You know, like
what's in here? What do you got?
I've got the scotch in there. Oh yeah. We got that for my birthday not too long ago, and my wife's like, "It's expensive. Leave it at the house." I'm like, "I'm not gonna." You know, like we get drunk. It's like, let's pull out the scotch. And then we go through it. It's like, we sip on it when people are here.
Exactly.
You know, something simple like that.
Yes. It's an older gentleman's drink, which I like.
You know, I realize that too, because I normally get old fashions when I'm out.
Oh,
I'm like, that's the, weathered older person drink. And I'm like, yes, I know I'm old. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So real quick, just make sure that as you're talking, the mic is kind of just facing your mouth. You don't need to be like right on it.
On it. Okay.
Yeah, but as long as your voice is kind of like towards it.
Towards it, you got it. Yeah, this is interesting.
Got a new setup here now.
Yeah.
Try and change the records every time, or find what I can at like Goodwill or something.
That's so cool.
I like to have the setup. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Jay. No, it looks so good in here, man.
Slowly getting to exactly where we want it.
You're building, aren't you?
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Here and there, and trying to get, different people.
Yeah. No, your guests have been cool. Like
Thanks.
I've been loving it, and I also think you're good at it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Trying to find certain, it's like there's certain points where it's like there's people that never met before, where it's like it takes a second to break everything down because it's like it's awkward. That's why like the drinks kind of help, like it loosens people up, and then there are times where you'll get the certain people that come in and then like it's just fucking let's go. I need you to talk a little bit more, like where you're really trying to find something, and then it's like just a battle every time. You can find that one little thing that they're like, you see their eyes get a little bit wider.
Interesting.
And it's like, okay, now I found what we can talk about.
So you really don't have a direction sometimes. You kind of go and let it flow organically.
That's why it's like,
that's so cool.
I'll do little buzzwords or questions or something, and then try and find what they are into. It's like, that's why they're here. We're talking the entertainment, and then you can see, okay, this is what they're into. And then we can go down that rabbit hole.
That is awesome.
But it like I said, sometimes it can take a little time.
Yeah.
So like the first little bit, it's like, so you did that? Yeah.
Oh. Elaborate.
Cool. Why?
Yeah.
I like it.
Sweet.
All right. Now we can go ahead and dive into this.
I love that.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Longley's Line Podcast. I am your host, Stephen Longley. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, all of those social medias. Stephen Longley for me, Longley's Line for the show, Lightstyles Studio for our studio here. And as you guys know, we bring on different guests from all over the entertainment industry. And if you've been a listener from the jump, you know that we have had my previous guest on, or my current guest previously.
There you go.
A few different times. And today we have him back once again, Mr. Travis Stewart.
Always excited. This is always such a fun time.
Thank you.
I really enjoy it. Even if it goes nowhere, I just like it. It's fun to have a conversation without our phones, man.
Just sit here and hang out. Everything's on silent until you realize, crap, I've been getting called like 3 times.
I turned mine off at the bathroom. I was like, I'm not going to mess this up.
Whenever we're doing something and my wife's calling me and I'm like, oh yeah, cool. 3 missed calls. Damn it. Something's going on. Hey, what do you want for dinner?
And also, I have to say, I've been seeing a lot of this guy on TV lately.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's been awesome.
You got the Diamonds Casino commercial or something?
Casino one, and then there's another one. Oh, my gosh. And I told myself to remember it so I wouldn't be in this exact position when I got here. But there was another one you did too, and it was awesome. But the Diamonds Casino one
I like when we were talking about doing that, and it's like we should make it like a whole running character where it's like Midas.
Yes.
Where it's like it's the Midas touch and you touch everything, and then it's like I could just walk in like a diamond suit and then come walking in and like flick a quarter at somebody and it turns into a diamond. We were talking about that, like you pet the dog and all of a sudden they're
that would be
so
diamond. Cool.
Or like touch a lady's cigarette and she's like, what just happened? I can't even use this anymore. But first thing, go ahead and promote your social medias.
Oh,
where you want everybody to find you.
Absolutely. The only social media I have is Instagram, obviously, like the rest of us, and it's Travis_NV. Super simple. I'm pretty private on there for the most part. I don't share a ton, but I do share like artistic stuff and things that I'm doing as far
Mostly
as
your work.
creatively, yeah. Or as I love to travel, I love to put up travel things like that too. So I use social media, especially as I'm older, much differently than I did when I was younger.
Right.
I actually really enjoy using it to keep in touch with people. It's nice. It's way. I mean, for example, this.
Yeah.
Like
where you see people that you know and you just see what they're up to the entire time.
I love it. And then I can, send you a funny message. It goes, hey, saw you on TV, just like we did here. So, but yeah, please follow all that good stuff because I like to think I have something to offer. But, to each their own. To each their own. Yeah.
It's like, I do it more for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it has changed. It's because I think we all went through it when we were younger. It's like,
you
little
need
bit of
the likes and clicks and all that stuff.
Oh my God.
And it's fun. It's nice now because that's the age that we're in where it's all likes and clicks and follows and you're like, all right, I only got 2 likes on that, and all of a sudden you're depressed.
Exactly. I think we talked about that last time. Actually, I came in and said because you were always so good at just promoting yourself. You're like, look at me doing this, look at me doing this, and it was awesome. It was so awesome. So I channel my inner Steven sometimes too. Because it's cool.
Soon you'll be yelling at Niners games on Sundays. Just
actually, this is a good point. I hate that goddamn football team.
In like a love-hate or the fun where it's like I hate the Seahawks and the Cowboys?
No, it's like I hate the Seahawks and the Cowboys, but I'm a Steelers fan, so I hate the Ravens and the Browns and the Bengals. But the Niners thing is funny because when I was younger, back in the 90s, cable or lack thereof, you got one football game a Sunday, right? That's what it was, and you had your fingers crossed on what it was. And in the 90s, I want to say late 90s, early 2000s, the Niners were garbage. Remember that era? 1-12, like 1-15, and they play the Raiders that are 2-13, and those were the games they showed.
Yep.
And so I got
That's all you got.
That's all I got. And so I just started to really loathe the 49ers.
Because that's all you see?
That's all I got to see.
Yeah.
Like, if they were like how they were now, I would love to watch.
Yeah.
Because I also
would have been a lot more fun.
As much of a fan I am of Pittsburgh, like I just really like good football and especially defense driven football.
Oh yeah. That's all I watch.
Yeah. So I love seeing Nick Bosa come off the edge, and I love seeing Fred Warner. God damn that guy. Yeah. They're just such specimens.
Just animals. It's what I do, like, because my wife's also, it's funny because when we got together, she's also a Niners fan.
Oh, perfect.
Just by the way, it's like, cool. We're both Niners fans. And then we're also both Nebraska fans for college, which was just an odd thing that was both of our college teams, right?
Random, too.
Makes no sense. Hers was a friend got her into it. So then she started following Nebraska. And mine was like more of like a long story short kind of thing where mine was my defensive coach in football my sophomore year. He was a huge Nebraska fan. Funny. So I played defense and I was on the defensive line and his whole thing was the black shirts. So it's like if you were the defensive star of that game, you got the black shirt.
That's cool.
And everybody's, just throwing up the X after something like we're, in Spanish Springs in Nevada.
Yeah.
And we're doing the Nebraska call, like the sign that they do. And so then I've just, because it's so defensively heavy and defensively favored, that's what I follow. So whenever we watch football, that's what I'm focusing on is that, like, I love a good offensive play. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
You see McCaffrey come running through and, like Ayuk's in the end zone or something, or like, I love the offensive plays, but when it's defense, if it's a heavy defensive game and, the score is 3-0 in the second quarter, and I'm watching it, and my wife's like, this is a boring game. Like, it's not. Have you seen what, like, Greenlaw's been coming in this whole time, and they've been doing that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just watching that the whole time. And it's like, if it's defensive heavy, that's what I'm here for.
Me too. Like I love it. And it's hard for me to watch football sometimes, though, too, because I feel like there's just always these defensive setbacks, like, the roughing the passer calls this year.
They're so soft.
And exactly.
So soft.
And it's hard as like a defensive guy myself, just like you, to see that. And even both ways, when my team benefits from one, I can look at it objectively and go, oh, that was kind of lame.
I'm happy that it happened.
Yeah.
But you're like, that was he pushed him down. Or they did a clean tackle.
Yes.
They didn't drive him. As soon as they're going down, they let up and it was fine. Then flag. How?
Yeah, I know.
What are they supposed to do? They did there's a commercial right now with Sauce Gardner from the Jets, right? And he's doing it for Buffalo Wild Wings. And the Buffalo's there. And he's like, wait, so that was a roughing the passer? He goes, yeah, defensive. It was like, well, what if he, what if he did this? Roughing the passer. Yeah. What if he did this? Roughing the passer. Like, what if he just looks at him? Roughing the passer.
Absolutely.
It's so soft now, and I hate it.
I know.
Because they favor the offense so heavily.
Yeah.
Which is...
Well, it makes sense.
Fine.
It does make sense for the...
Because that's what the highlights are.
And that's what the highlights are, and they're trying to bring in more people. Like, you and I are there.
Yeah.
We're going to watch it no matter what. I'm going to.
Yeah.
Like, every Sunday.
Like, they had a bye week last week, and I still just watched football all day. So I'm like, I'm here for this and watching what's going on, and like, I'm just a psychopath when a sack happens. Like, I'm sitting on the couch, just lean back, hanging out, and then a sack comes. Oh, yes. I'm jumping up like, oh, it's all right. All the cats and dogs are looking at me like.
Wife too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sack. Okay.
Yeah. Wait, nothing happened.
Yeah.
No, it did.
They
Something
know
really
what was
big
going
happened.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're targeting that casual viewer, like your wife, for example. The highlight reel of, like you said, Brandon Ayuk going up and one-handing a ball.
Yeah.
Tiptoeing the sideline. Like, I get it. I really do. But I miss. Well, I mean, I even think back to that last Niners Super Bowl run where they battled Seattle again in that NFC Championship game. The plays you think of are defense.
Yeah.
Like, for me anyway, when I think about that game, I think of Sherman and Crabtree. I think of Bobby Wagner and, God, who was their other really good linebacker that was so good?
They had the Legion of Boom going on. So, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, all those guys. But
then on the other side, Willis, Bowman, I want to say, wasn't there a guy who had a nickname that rhymed with, like, hitting? He had a safety. What was that guy's name?
Dante Whitner.
Hittner.
Yeah, they called him Hittner.
Like that. I loved watching those games. I really wish that both those dynasties could have spread out longer, because I would have loved to have watched that.
Yeah, with like the tag team of Willis and Bowman. It was, the reason I became the Niners fan too was because of Justin Smith. So my grandpa was a huge Niners fan. My dad's a Rams fan. So, watch the divisional rivalry always. But I became more of a Niners fan because of Justin Smith, the cowboy. That was his name. He was an interior defensive lineman and just the havoc. He was like a past Aaron Donald kind of thing, where he would just be coming through.
Game wrecker.
It was him and Alden Smith lined up on the left side.
Yes.
And that was fantastic.
Alden Smith, I forgot about that one too.
But, Alden got into his...
Yeah. Well, Patrick, not Patrick Peterson, Patrick Willis.
Yep.
Was it him or Bowman who blew out their knee viciously? Like, there was someone who blew up their knee in one of those games too. It was like all these injuries, and then Cam Chancellor's neck started going. And
I think it was Willis.
Like, all these really good players were just, their bodies failed them.
Yeah.
Like, just so much.
Well, it's like, you look at it too, why McCaffrey would get so hurt on things.
Yeah.
Because when he came to the Niners, everyone's like, oh, well, he's just going to be a liability. But the only reason he would get hurt so often with the Panthers was because that's all they had. So with the Niners, he runs so viciously, and then you get pass play, and then a running play.
Right.
Or then something else will happen, and then all of a sudden, like, a different running back's in. So it gives him a little more time to rest, and then he's just a little savage coming through.
Yeah, because he hasn't had the same injury issues as he had in previous seasons.
Not as much, no. Yeah. Like, he's, he runs so aggressively that he still gets banged up.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad as it was, and like the kind of knock on wood kind of thing. But just he's an animal.
Oh yeah,
you
no,
know?
and you don't have to rely on him like the Panthers did. Like you're saying, less work, body lasts longer.
Yep, and then you see Debo or Jennings or somebody come through, and then everybody else is getting dispersed a little bit more.
Yeah.
So sorry for all the people that don't.
Yeah, no,
like
I love that. Yeah. No, I figured it was a good tangent. Someone's going to be interested. We'll just go with that.
It's like
there's a bunch of Niner fans out there.
I don't know who it was, but we were talking. It was like, if you want to get me to ramble and go on, we talk Niner football. We talk. I had my buddy Jared come in, who he's a big Disneyland guy. We talk Disneyland. I
think that's great.
I love it. We will go on tangents about. It's like we can talk movies. It's like you bring up something with Chris Farley, I'm off to the races. It's like there are those that you get me started on that. It's over. It'll be.
Oh, this is good to know.
It'll be like 15, 20 minutes of, well, did you even see when that happened? Right. Oh, and then we're at Disneyland. Well, if you go to this spot over here,
That's so
go
cool.
off it. Do you have any movies or actors like that come to mind where you're like, I can talk about this person all day?
Absolutely. I think one of the most stellar acting careers I've ever witnessed is DiCaprio. Mm-hmm. I cannot. And here's the others. Actually, DiCaprio and Pitt. My big thing is because they've had these such long careers with very little problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're so good at being. They're never in trouble for anything stupid.
Yeah.
They've been in Hollywood for. When did What's Eating Gilbert Grape come out? Early 90s?
Yeah, I think late 80s.
Something, yeah, even that, even then, yeah. So I marvel. I could talk about him all day just because he's done such cool movies. And same with Brad Pitt. I think about his little David Fincher stretch there with Seven and Fight Club.
Yeah.
Like two of the coolest movies I think I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And like he's my idol. And then he comes in and plays that awesome character in Snatch where you're like, who the fuck is this guy?
You like dogs?
Why do I love this little, this little fighter?
He's the most handsome man in Hollywood, and he's got a gold tooth on with just these little, cartoony drawn tattoos on.
And he still looks awesome.
And you're like, it's fucking Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
He's like, do you like dogs?
You like dogs? Yeah, it's so good. And same thing with DiCaprio. I think about his little Scorsese stretches, right? Where it's like Wolf of Wall Street and Departed, and you see all these amazing movies that he does. And I'll say it right now, I love Titanic. I think it is a great movie.
Yeah.
I'm a James Cameron fan too, though.
Sure.
So like those two actors blow my mind just because of how they've lived their lives. Mm-hmm. They're so out of trouble.
Yeah.
They're in the limelight all the time.
Constantly.
Like that's just mind blowing. And yet they're still what seem to be, granted, I've never met them or talked to them, but sure. I feel like you could sit down with them and have a conversation.
Yeah. Well, one of the comedians I like, Tom Segura.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
He met Brad Pitt, and just the way he was talking, that he came in and, kind of like, it was during the COVID time, so they had like the masks on and stuff. Uh-huh. And he came in, didn't try to make it a whole point, like, I'm Brad Pitt, let me in this green room. He was like, would you guys mind if I came in and just kind of chat for a minute? And it was like, dude, you're Brad Pitt, you can go into any room and, all the pants drop. Like, it's fucking Brad Pitt, And, like, I think the only, not necessarily issue with, like, Leonardo DiCaprio, but kind of the thing that's going around is, like, his 25-year-old thing. Yeah. And it's like,
But here's the thing I look at. Like, okay, you're right. He has this joke going where, they hit 25, they're gone.
Yeah.
Right? But why is there never a bad story about it? I want to know how he does it because these women he dates, and then does he let them down like the best way possible, and then they go off floating? Because I never hear anything bad.
He was like, just go ahead and take this car.
Yeah.
Like,
Like what? How does he?
There's no negative story that comes out about it. It's like they're just 25 and they're gone, but then you don't hear any of those women come back. It was like, well, he was an asshole.
Exactly.
Or maybe there is, but it's not like it's blown out of proportions or anything like that, which I think you got to respect in that.
Absolutely. And actually a great little tie into another sport thing. LeBron James is the same way to me. He's been in the league since he was 18. Mm-hmm. Never a problem. Like what? Never a problem in his over 20-year career.
Yeah.
And it's mind blowing because you think about all the other basketball players who've come along, and there's even
where
Michael
things
Jordan,
happen. Yeah.
You know, got in trouble for gambling. Like the GOAT got in trouble for gambling. So it's crazy to think that this other kid was able to do that whole career.
Who's just been going through and has just been clean.
It's amazing. You know? That's a great way to put it. Been clean. So yeah, I lump all those guys together where they're
larger than life,
and how they were able to just stay clean and be smart.
Mm-hmm.
I could talk about them forever, let alone their acting chops, because I also think their acting chops are unbelievable. I haven't seen what's that new movie that DiCaprio's in?
Killer of the Flower Moon.
Oh my God, I need to see it, but like, even the way he looks, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's DiCaprio.
Right?
Whoa.
And you wouldn't have been able, like, just the way I like that little behind the scene. I don't know if you've seen it, where it's the behind the scenes of Wolf of Wall Street, where the craziness is going on and the camera's following him. And then you just see him sitting there waiting. They click and he instantly goes into like just how he can. There's a reason why he's so big.
Yes.
Is because he knows what to do.
And he's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good.
And he can play any role.
Yeah.
Like you put him in anything and it's DiCaprio, and you know it's Leonardo DiCaprio. That's I think that's one of the things that where like somebody gets pigeonholed based on a role or based on the like accessibility that everybody has now, where it's like, oh, it's The Rock.
Yes.
You know, but then it's like even him, even though you know it's The Rock, the way that they can portray themselves and actually do what actors are supposed to do and make you forget, oh, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah. And you're like, actually, he's playing John Smith really well right now, or whoever he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And just goes into that role.
Yeah.
Which I think is like one of the things you want to idolize as an actor.
Yeah.
Because
it blows my mind.
Yeah. You can't say enough good things about it, you know.
And you're more of an actor than I am. I've never been good at it. Delivering a line, I feel like I'm okay with, you know, portraying simple stuff like car commercials and things like that, but it also really helps me put in perspective the quality of those performances. I'll sit with my wife too. We'll sit and we'll be watching something, even something like Stranger Things, where you see child actors and they're doing this scene where you're like, how in the hell is that 17-year-old girl better at this than I am, and I'm 43? Like, it's mind-blowing. Like, where did she learn how to do that? Because in my mind, I think you have to go to Juilliard to figure that out. You have to go to some like really, really good performing arts school.
Something very prestigious. No Shakespeare or something.
Exactly. Yet she's barely learning how to drive and nailing a scene where she has to be in absolute turmoil.
Yeah.
So we do that all the time. And any performance, we're always so blown away. And I think that came with age too. Because I didn't feel this way when I was younger. I don't know about you, but I would watch movies and I wouldn't actually be able to put together like what was actually going on.
Didn't appreciate it as much
at all.
Because well, think about it now. It's like you don't know the behind the scenes of everything.
Yeah.
When you're younger, you're just like, oh, this is just a cool movie. This is just awesome how it's going into it. But then once you've been behind the scenes and you see everything,
maybe that's it. Yeah.
You're like, you know, there's a camera here, there's a camera there.
Yep.
They're doing a monologue, and I was actually just talking with an actress about this the other day, where it's like you see it so much differently now.
Very.
That you've been in, not necessarily that role in like a huge motion picture or something, but you see the amount of work that goes into everything.
Yeah. And
the sheer just hurry up and wait aspect.
Yeah.
You know?
That's,
like that
is exactly
that's a term that a lot of us that have been, you know, that do modeling or do acting or do something like that, where hurry up and wait is the most common. And you have to think, well, they're doing a night shoot where it's definitely 3 a.m. And they have to bring all of this energy out while, you know, an hour or two before, they have to get cameras set up. They've got to make sure lighting's good. They've got to make sure sound's good. They've got to make sure this and that, while the like actors just sitting there
getting into their role.
Okay, so I know what I'm going to say here. I've got my lines down. wonder where craft services is going. You know, like there's so much other stuff that goes into it, and then they have to be in this specific mindset.
Yes.
You know, it's like you think Heath Ledger when he's playing the Joker.
Dude, that's a great.
You know, he's got to stay in this mindset.
Yeah.
But then you realize the acting portion of it. That's why it's like you think maybe that's why, you know, he ended up, you know, dying and everything, where it's like he's got to be in this mindset for so long, and the amount of pressure that's there to make sure you nail this scene, because if you don't, then obviously they're going to do like 3 or 4 different takes of it.
Right.
But if you don't nail this, then you've got to do 10 different takes of it. And now you're losing your daylight, or the sun's coming up.
Yes.
Or like the amount of puzzle pieces that just have to click together.
Exactly. Yeah. And even on a small setup, like, well, you know, you've done enough commercials here. Even those little small casino setups that we do, they're busy.
Yeah.
Let alone a multi-million-dollar Hollywood studio set.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine what that's like if I'm sitting, you know, waiting at Silver Legacy for them to set up a little shoot in the lounge. Like, what does the lighting take for?
Yeah.
Those, like you said, an outdoor scene. Like, I can't imagine trying to battle sun position, because I see it in movies. I don't know if you do. You ever watch a scene where they've edited it and you could tell one part was really late, and then they did so well they slapped it in the beginning, and so you can see the sun change. Like, it, I notice that kind of stuff.
You can see it when they do like a night shoot. There's a different like aura to it. But then the other point is, like, they're doing the night shoot. You can blatantly tell it's at night.
Right.
But then you can go to another scene where it's also supposed to be at night, but you can kind of tell that like the hue or something is off, and that's because, maybe not because, but one of the things is they lost their night.
Totally.
So they had to put like a filter or they had to put something different on because they lost this, but they had to get this scene done because maybe they were losing these extras, or maybe the actor had a previous engagement, or, you know.
Pickup shot.
Yeah.
On a different day.
Where they have to come back and reshoot.
Yes.
And it's, you know, like 2 months later.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah,
and then it's like, well, now we can't get into this specific thing because, you know, oh, they're closed today, or we didn't have the, you know, right payment or scheduling or whatever it could be. And it's just the amount of stuff that goes into it.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Changes it so much more now.
I would love to just sit on one of those sets and just watch.
Yeah.
And see how it works, because I can't comprehend it. I don't know what it would be like.
One of the bigger ones that I did was being an extra on Fast 7. So you see the big producing and the amount of like, because it was during one of like the racing scenes where they, you know, are doing their drag races and stuff. The amount of extras that are there, and just the sheer people that have to be like, okay, you and you go over there. All right, this group of people go over there. Okay, we're going to see this. The camera's going to be coming around this way, so make sure you don't look at it. Like, you'll see something come running through. Here comes Vin Diesel on a motorized scooter. Watch out for him. Like, just, it's controlled chaos.
Yeah.
What it is not very controlled and not very chaotic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's there's so much craziness going on where so many people need to know what they're doing, but it doesn't necessarily all work out.
Yep.
So then they're like, okay, we've got to do this here, you know.
Holy shit, that's a lot. That's a production. That would have been cool to see. Oh my God.
It really puts into like perspective how much goes into all this.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like bring it full circle. Yeah. The amount that actually goes into it is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, have you thought about doing more acting roles? Do you want to dive? Because you said you weren't very good at it, but have you thought about trying to do any more, like anything from not just a commercial, but maybe like a short film?
I would love to try. I'm just very trepidatious because I've never had to learn lines. Any of the commercials I've done have been very just facial expression driven. You know, showing your wife the new car, you know, opening the door, you know, simple things, casino shoots, playing a slot and then acting like you just won.
Yeah.
Very simple to show those kind of emotions. So I would love to try. I need some sort of, I would need direction. I would need to actually take class. I would need to study on how things are done. What is method acting? What is how to even deliver a line?
Yeah.
Because I'll do it when I'm watching TV or a movie. I'll do the same. I'll look over whoever's watching with me and I'll be like, that look that person just gave, can you just do that on the fly? Can you give me a flabbergasted yet awkward look that like Steve Carell is so good at in The Office? Like that's even just hard to do in the moment when I'm sitting with someone I know.
Yeah.
So I would want that kind of direction. So I would never, because my big thing is I never ever wanted to go on set unprepared.
Yeah.
It's the worst feeling. It's the worst feeling. And luckily I've never been unprepared because I've been on top of it, but I've seen other people come in who have been unprepared and it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And then I get frustrated with them because usually they're shooting with you and I'm thinking, well, why aren't you ready?
Yeah. Why don't you know your lines?
Why don't you know your lines? Why aren't you ready to do this? And so I never wanted to put myself out there as, hey, I could do this. And then, oh man, I actually don't know if I can do this because I just don't know how.
Right.
Not that I'm unable to.
You just don't have those tools in your bag.
I don't.
Because why would you?
Yes, exactly. You know? Yeah, you tell me to stand in front of a camera on a spot to take a picture. Clothed or not, I know what to do.
Yeah.
Like I can do it because I've done
pose, move.
Pose, move. Yeah. You
know the person that you're with, you hear the click, you know to move.
Exactly. Like, yes. Yeah. Great. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Every time you hear that shutter click, you change something.
Yep.
Where acting, it also scares me a little bit too because I love the idea when I see clips of actors who have ad-libbed something genius. And in my mind, I'm always thinking, ooh, I'd kind of be a good ad-libber, but then would I have the courage enough to do it to see if it would work?
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine, I don't know if this has happened to you. I've never tried, but have you ever been on set where you've tried something like that and the director was like, Steve, what the hell was that, man? And then do you go into a shell at that point? Or do then you go, or do then you stand up and go, well, I'm going to try that again?
Not necessarily on set, but more for auditions.
Oh.
So if it's on set, they have, they will tell you if they want you to do something. So it's like, for example, you brought up The Office.
Yeah.
A lot of theirs is they have a guideline for this, or like a Curb Your Enthusiasm. Okay. I've heard this before, where it's like they have a guideline for the scene where there's certain dialogue that needs to be said because it helps move the scene forward. But a lot of the times, the middle part, they can figure it out. So that's when they're just having a conversation like this, and they know the start of the scene is, okay, we're at the DMV, and then the end of the scene is we're getting kicked out. Or the end of the scene is now we've got our license. But then the middle part, like the inside of the sandwich, they are bringing their own meats and cheeses and going into that. So it's like, depending on who you're filming with or what you're filming for, if there's something specific, all the lines and you just read your lines and maybe you give a different inflection or the tone. That's a big part, is knowing the tone of the scene. Like one of the more dramatic roles I've done, it's supposed to be sad. You're supposed to be bewildered. You're, upset the entire time.
And where do you go for that?
It's
for you specifically.
For me specifically, it's the same thing. It kind of just depends. Like if I'm like for that, if it's supposed to be you're sad and upset, just in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, like just kind of thinking in your mind of something that's either upsetting or knowing what's going on in the scene. So it's like we did a very emotional scene where like somebody had just died. Right. So it's me and the kid and it's us together, and they made it very intimate. So it's like everybody there was about, maybe 20 people working on the set.
Yeah.
But then when the intimate scene came in, it was me and the kid. And then it was the director, a sound person, the kid's mom, and that was about it. And it's just us together. his process was he has one specific scene that he watches from a movie that will get him every time. Mine is I have sad music that when it comes in, it puts you in that more sad mindset. So it's like that song comes on, or it's like, recently, like people have passed away and you're thinking about that. And then when the scene comes, you know your lines. And then you come in and you bring that energy to it.
And then you go to that place.
Yeah,
Man.
and then you're there. Okay. And there was one, with that one specifically, it was right after the funeral. So I'm talking to the kid and we're doing a little back and forth. And as we're going through it, the last take that we did, we're crying the whole time. Like we have to have tears going on.
Need to see this, by the way.
Keep going. It's on Tubi. Okay. Tree of Mine.
No kidding. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Okay.
So it's Twilight of Reno. So it's Mad Wife Productions. It's all of their short films.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So that's the one that we did. And the final take was, we're talking about it. It's a sad moment. I like wipe my face really quick and like, okay, we got to go. And then that was the one that they used, because the other one was more just like emotional. But then they saw like a couple of little things where it's like those little nuances that you bring to it, because what's going on here, because you're sad, but then you realize the switch has to flip and now you've got to go do this.
God, that's impressive. It's impressive.
It's like anything, it takes practice.
Right.
There are those certain people like Bryce Dallas Howard. Mm-hmm. She can cry on cue.
No kidding.
She showed it on like Conan while they were talking, and it was like, you can cry on cue. She goes, yeah, give me a second. And then it instantly came out. Like there are those certain people, but then there's the other ones where you have to get into that mindset.
Yes.
Or it's like James Gandolfini was on like Inside the Actor's Studio, and it's one of my favorite little interviews that he did, because that same kind of question came up. It was like, you're supposed to be annoyed and irritated all day, but you just came from like a good lunch with a best friend that you haven't seen in so long, and you're having a good day, but then you have to get into the scene. He was like, one of the things that has always helped me is you find little things that will annoy you that you do to yourself during the day. So he's like, put a rock in your shoe, don't take it out, but it's there, and it's annoying the hell out of you. So when the scene comes in and you have to talk to the guy, hey, piece of shit, like you're already annoyed because you've got that rock in your shoe that you want to take out, but you can't. And it gets you into that little mindset, which makes it annoying, but also fun, because then when that final performance happens, then you either see it or you hear somebody that saw it and they're like, that was cool.
Because that's the thing. That's what I really like about shooting, is that the photographer can just immediately look at you and go, awesome, amazing. And it builds you up. You get more confident. And then the next pictures you're doing are even better, because now you're being built up. Mm-hmm. And so I wondered that with acting, when you go in and you try something with a little bit different nuance and you get, say, shot down.
Yeah.
What does that do to your psyche? Because as much as I like to admit I'm not thin-skinned, I think we all are, and
everyone has it.
Like it's difficult to even put things out there that are edited, because I always see the flaw. I always see where I could have done better. I always see what I should have done differently.
Yeah.
Acting, I feel like you have multiple opportunities to do that, but at the same time, if you do something that is not liked or appreciated, maybe not appreciated, but not liked. Mm-hmm. Being told that, I wonder how I would respond, and how do you respond when someone tells you that was a good take, but shit, don't say the but.
It comes with how you said, where it's like you want to be directed. So it comes with, it's the same, mindset is a big thing. So if I come in to something and the director wants it a certain way, you have it in your mind how you want to do it. Uh-huh. And then, the director has it in their mind. And when they tell you, okay, that was fine, but I'd like you to do it like this.
Got it.
You have to take that little beat and go, okay, they want it said like this.
Okay.
And then you try that. And one of the things that has always been some sort of pride in my own work has been being easily directable.
Yes. I think that is a hallmark attribute of any.
You need that.
Yes. Totally.
Actor, model, whoever
Yes.
it is, you need to be easily directable. And like you said, you got to have your thick skin on.
Yes. Yep.
And everybody has the thin skin because I've been trying. I was so excited to do this. And then now you're saying I have to do it completely differently.
Yeah.
It sucks. And you can be pissed for the second or annoyed or whatever it is. But to be easily directable is what you have to practice.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. And then so you get that confidence by repetition? You got that confidence in class? Where'd you get that confidence?
I don't even know if I still have it.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know if, because there's that point of where we talked about Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. They have that confidence because they have done it for so long that they know what they're doing. Yes. And if they need to change something, then they will. But then it comes with the working actor who is still trying to figure themselves out.
Absolutely.
That you can portray that confidence because you're an actor. You have to. You have to pretend that I know exactly what I'm doing. And I have to act like I know what I'm doing. But then there's those little insecurities where you're like, shit, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
But then when the director says, okay, we're getting ready, you have to put your big boy pants on.
And do it.
Try it out. You have to sit there because you're going to throw it against the wall regardless. You don't know if it's going to stick or not. You have to try.
Yeah.
And the confidence can always be waving.
Yeah, sure.
You can always have that wavering confidence where you think you're doing great.
Yes.
And then you get that but.
Yeah.
But you still have to do it.
And then you learn from it, I'm sure, right? You take it to the next one, the next one.
Yeah. Because I've had that happen before for a commercial where like I'm doing just a nervous tick or something because it's like the beginning of the day. I've never worked with these people before and I'm doing a nervous tick. And then they tell me about that. And then after the third one, I stop. But it's still there in my mind and they ended up not using my scene. Right. So it's like, because they've had so many people and then they're like, well, we had too many to work with from them or whatever they're thinking. And then they just don't use it. And then now for the future, I know, okay, if I'm doing this, this is what it looks like.
Gotcha.
And then I keep that in mind.
I see.
Move on from there.
Yeah.
So then now what do you have that you're working on now? Because you've still got the modeling thing kind of going on. What are you working on now?
Yeah, I actually wanted to. I've been out of rotation for a while, just because I was doing other things. But I'm actually trying to kind of get back into it again because I miss it, and I'm sure you can attest to this. One good thing about these kind of things, like acting and modeling things, your age just puts you into a new category. Like it doesn't age you out in a sense where you're 40 now, you're done. Yeah. No, now I'm in like the 40 to 50 range. And so I really, so I want to get back into it in that sense. Cause I miss being on set. Yeah. I really do.
Same.
I loved getting jobs for a Friday and getting jobs for a Thursday. And you going on set and it's the middle of the day and you're just in a car lot or something like that and you're shooting. I genuinely miss that kind of thing. So really not working on anything right now other than just kind of shooting again, getting my gears all aligned again. So hopefully that when another job will come up through True Talent or something like that, I can actually put my name in and have new work to show for it. Cause I think that's maybe why I'm getting lost in the shuffle. Yeah. Is that I haven't updated headshots, things like that. So I finally just did that again, things like that. So I'm trying to get back into it because I was for a long time just not doing much. I've noticed it, as I've also gotten older too, it's not as a forefront thing as it once was, right? It really is kind of more background now.
Where you have different things that have taken priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still love it, and I still I'm ready to do it. I had a great little week of shoots. I had some fun with Felicia, and then I shot with Bill, Carson Valley Portraits, and had an amazing time with him. And so I've been doing getting just back into it. And I realize when I'm with them, I go, fuck, I really enjoy this.
Yeah.
And I need to get paid again for it, because that's always a good sign.
That's what you want.
That's what you want. You know? Yeah.
When I was talking with the actress too, it's like where you want to get to that point where that is where your source of income comes from.
Oh my God, that'd be a dream.
You know, where for the actor's standpoint, it's like if you can be a regular on something,
yes,
or you have those commercials and stuff constantly coming in,
yes,
and doing stuff and brings the paycheck. So that's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah.
And then you can do what you love to do.
Yeah. And you're getting paid to have fun. Because I don't know about you, but I love being on set.
Oh, yeah.
I love even the hurry up and waits. I mean, you get brought down to set, and sometimes you're literally sitting on that set for an hour watching them get ready. But I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm usually sitting there with the co-star, whoever's with me, and we're, bullshitting about what we're going to do and laughing like, oh, I'm going to make you laugh this time a certain way, just joking around. And then you get into it and they fire and you're on it. You nail it. Next. Fucking God, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. And then you cut early. That's even a better feeling.
Yeah.
Because, the rate is still there.
We're done for the day.
Yeah,
now.
You're done for the day, but the pay is still the same. So things like that, I miss. I love being on casino floor sets. I think it's so fun.
Those are fun.
It's just a riot to me. And even car dealerships, I love that stuff. So I want to do more. I want to do more of that. And I need to figure out a way to see if I can improve acting. Because I think that would also open up a little bit, because I'm so photograph driven. And then when I do shoots, when I do commercials, they're very, no lines. I've never given a line on camera. Never have. And I would like to at least try that once.
Yeah.
Because I see you do it. I'm like, God damn it. He did it.
Yeah.
And it's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah. You say something.
Yes. Yeah. And the camera's on you and you have to deliver that line. It's not just how you look, it's how you deliver it. And can you deliver it? And you're interacting with another human, which is just awesome too. So I want to do that kind of stuff, which is perfect for this timing talking to you. Because I actually really like learning on how you do some of this stuff, like what you did to get there. Because that's what I want to do. It'd be so fun.
The one little bit of advice that comes with, for acting, it's the simplest bit of advice that I have coming from somebody who's still not, I'm not huge. I'm not winning awards, anything like that. But the thing that I've always found easiest, that's as general as it sounds, know your line.
Ah, right.
You have one thing to say where it's like, wow, this is a big car, or something simple like that. No, that's your line.
Right.
And that's it. So when it comes to you, you're saying your line. You're not, wow, this is a nice car. Where it's so monotone. Yeah. I don't think I can do that.
Yes.
Because if you know that your line or set of lines or whatever it's supposed to be, it's more natural to you.
Right.
Because if we can sit there and talk football, it's what I know. It's what I like. It's what I have in my head. So if you know your line, instead of it coming out very choppy because I'm uncomfortable saying it, if you know what it is, then you just go, wow, that is pretty good. Yeah. Or, whatever that line has to be, because you know it. Yep. That's it. And it eases your mind as much as everybody else's.
And do you deliver your lines to the mirror? Because I've had people tell me that, go stand in front of your mirror and, deliver something to yourself. Say something to yourself and make it convincing.
Yeah, I do from time to time.
Yeah.
I think a common thing is most actors, even sometimes models, they don't like looking at their own work.
Guilty.
Hate it.
Absolutely. I
cannot. Even doing this, editing this, I'm like, that's what my voice sounds like.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. I got to hear me say this 20 different times. Or watching back, like the commercials are cool or seeing a film is great. I will watch it once.
Yeah.
I don't like to see that, but to help the process, you have to. You have to look at yourself and you've got to see what you're doing. So if you have to come in and you've got to say your line annoyed, you have to know what your face looks like.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, right. Yeah. Good call.
And that comes with it.
Yeah.
And that comes either with looking in the mirror or recording yourself.
I never even thought about that.
If you are putting something on tape, just record yourself saying the line.
And then you have to watch it too.
Mm-hmm. Then you've got to see, go back. What do I need to change?
Ooh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of do that on your own. You can just do that alone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So you can either, just like set up your phone like right there on something that's close by, or you can get your tripod set up or whatever it is, and then it just helps.
I like that idea. What a good way to practice. Yeah. Because then even if I had a little confidence, I would put myself out there for it. I would try.
What helps too is like find something that you like to, like something that you know or even don't know. But if you find like a little monologue or like a random scene from a movie, you can go online and find scripts for stuff. Yep. Then you're like, all right, I'm going to try the role of Keith. And then I'm going to say their lines. And then you just randomly try it out. And then you see what it is. You don't know what the scene might be.
Man, I like that.
But then you can see the couple of lines of dialogue and then you can practice. Yeah. And it's something different. And then you are just keeping those muscles worked.
Yeah, because I mean, as cheesy as it sounds, I'm sure you've done it too for even modeling stuff, like knowing facial expressions and things like that. I was told in the very beginning, stand in the mirror and make facial expressions. Yeah. Smile and be serious and do those things.
See what you look like.
See what you look like. Yeah, and just get better at knowing what it feels like too. I've actually done it with my body as well. When you're doing something where you might not have any clothes on, what does it feel like to have your body look a certain way? So you don't have to see it to know that something is happening. You know. You can just go, yeah, oh, I'm there. Okay, yeah, this arm is back, this arm is forward. So we're set up having to go, interesting. Okay. Like you know what
how it feels.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
You've
So
seen it.
It sounds like acting is kind of the same way then.
It's very similar.
Go in and just know what you sound like when you're annoyed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It helps out.
That's awesome.
And on that note, we are going to get you out of here.
Yes.
It's about that time. We're wrapping up here. Before we do, go ahead and promote your socials one more time.
Please do. Yeah. No,
I want everybody to find
I'm on Instagram. Please find me, Travis_NV. Reach out if you want to collaborate. Oh, that's a good thing. Reach out if you want to collaborate because I'm always looking for new actors, models, photographers, anyone I would love to meet and branch out with and do something creative because I don't know about you, but I'm very creative. And so sometimes you need the right kind of photographer for something. So please reach out. I feel like I'm nice, but we don't know.
You tell me.
Yeah, you tell me.
We'll know later on. So you guys heard it here first. Any collaborations, anything you want to do, give Travis a follow here. You know what to do for us over here. Stephen Longley for me. Longley's Line for the show. Light Style Studio for our studio here. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Thank you.
Cool.
You're so awesome.
Thanks
we talked fucking football, man.
I know.
That was awesome. I did not expect that.
I love talking football.
That was rad. That was so rad.
If it's like how I said, if it can come up or if it happens in some way.
Yeah. Just organically like that. It's I'm sure you're not doing a lot of these interviews for a target audience too. You're just having conversations.
Yeah,
mainly. Which is so cool.
That's mainly what helps. And then the other people that I like to do it is for like motivational things. So if somebody wants to get into something and they want to get their foot in acting, they want to try modeling or something, then you hear the little
that's cool.
piece of advice where like how you just did, you want to reach out to other people to collaborate. And even somebody that has done quite a few shoots is still be like, hey, let's do this. And that's how the person that doesn't know can be like, hey, this is what you have to do.
I mean, it's exactly how I met you.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Same thing.
I knew who you were.